All right, that takes us to our second heavyweight championship match of the night, which was the Almighty Bobby Lashley with MVP versus the base Incarnate Brock Lesnar with Paul Heyman by his side for the WWE Heavyweight Championship.
Well, I let you boys carry this one because I saw the start and I saw the finish and I missed the middle. So, probably the most interesting thing, I suppose, at the end was Reigns coming out and Heyman handing him the chair, and he's sort of done. So obviously Lesnar's going to be the face now.
Lesnar's the face, and Paul once again is the linchpin.
Yeah, yeah.
You know, Paul takes a punch, it's all set up. They set Brock Lesnar up. You know, because Heyman didn't help him win the belt. Heyman jumped on afterwards.
Yeah.
But then Heyman helped him lose the belt. It's great. It's really, really clever. Whoever's booked this understands wrestling.
I reckon Heyman might be producing that whole Reigns, him, Lesnar, because it's got somebody whoever's been working this whole story, which has been going for weeks now. They've done a mighty job. To be honest with you, the only reason I watch SmackDown is to see what they're doing.
Yes, exactly right. Yeah. Is this not the best produced thing that they've produced in the last 5 years?
Oh, more than 5 years.
Yeah.
They're very, very good. But the match itself between Lashley and Lesnar, I mean, built up, as you said earlier in the podcast, built up like almost a Muhammad Ali fight of years gone by.
It was great. It was great to build up, and even the match wasn't bad.
Yeah.
I mean, Lashley took a lot of Germans, a couple that he landed right on top of his head. He split his own lip open, taking a couple of them. Right. It was stiff and reasonable. They looked like two guys that wanted to win. You know. Once again, Lashley wasn't down and out when Lesnar got speared from blindsided and speared. Lashley still could have kept going. It wasn't there. It wasn't eaten over for Lashley. Where he gave him the F5 was right near the ropes. Lashley could have got his foot on the rope.
Mm.
So it wasn't like, it was like, oh, he had him pinned 1, 2, 3. Right?
Yeah.
So the finish even didn't look too bad for Lashley in that way. Right? Sort of kept him looking strong. Reigns coming out and spearing him, the way Brock sold it, that he was really, really hurt, the way he took him out with the belt, the way Heyman handed the belt and then walked out with a big smile on his face following Reigns. The biggest question, if you guys all remember a few months ago, right, when we're talking about Heyman's the linchpin, how are we going to turn Heyman either way without making it look obvious? They did it. They did it without making it look obvious.
Yeah.
This was in the back of my mind that he might turn on Lesnar, but I wasn't sure.
Yeah, I must admit I hadn't gone there personally.
I thought about it. I thought, is he going to turn on Lesnar? But I thought, well, how do they do this? He is so committed to Reigns. He took a punch in the face. So you're not he's never going to back Lesnar again. Well, he's going to be with because he's took a punch to the face to deceive Lesnar enough to make him lose the belt and get psychologically under his skin.
You know what I'd love to see?
What would you love to see?
Something really, 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 really old school where you got the WrestleMania match and you got Lesnar and Reigns. And they got Paul Heyman in the cage above the ring.
That could happen.
Yeah, like the old days. Yeah,
and the stipulation: I don't only win the belt, but I win your manager.
Either that, or if I win, I get the belt in 5 minutes with Heyman or something.
Beautiful, something straight out of Bobby Heenan playbook.
Yeah, wouldn't that be just? I reckon
that'd be great.
Absolutely, go right off.
The payoff would be great. People would want to watch that for the payoff.
Oh, wouldn't you want to see? Although it's interesting to note that, and I know we're probably not really talking about the match it was, but if the WrestleMania match is, I mean, we know what it's going to be, but who wins?
It is a difficult one. It is a difficult one because, look, I would say that if I was booking it, you'd have to put Lesnar over. And I say that purely because I think Reigns is starting to get a little bit old as champion as far as 500 and something days. And
516 as of the pay-per-view.
Yeah. So, you know, how long are you going to have this guy holding the belt? He's not Bruno Sammartino.
Nah.
You know, so you can't have him hold the belt for 8 years.
Nah.
You know, so I would say that you would put Lesnar over, right? But how you do that, how creative you want to do it. I always think that if you're finishing the feud, if that's it, it should be clean.
Yeah. Absolutely. Right?
You know, you don't want to be stuffing around with some side finish, you know, where, but, you know, maybe, you know, you would have to say that if you're going to finish this feud off, that Lesnar goes over. If you don't put the face over, it loses all its steam.
Yeah. But see, the other little outlier is not only Heyman but the Usos.
Yeah, there's heaps of stipulations.
Yeah, so
you can just stick it in a cage. Just stick it in a cage and say it's not escape. It's the one who gets the first submission or pin.
Yeah. I mean, they got an opportunity to almost do anything with it.
Yeah.
Personally, I'd love to see Heyman in the cage above the ring, and then Lesnar goes over and gets 5 minutes with
and they drop him in the cage.
Maybe that's where the Usos then come out.
Yeah.
You know, to save Lesnar, to save Heyman, and they get stuck into Lesnar, and Heyman takes off or something like that.
I think they've got to be careful. The two wrestlers in this is don't get overthrown or overwhelmed by the sizzle. Still give some stake.
Oh shit! Yeah.
So I think that's something that they got to remember. WWE is great on sizzle, not great on steak. Yeah. So you know, make sure, because with AEW, a lot of it's about steak. So you need to compete with them in ring. Yeah. But I think there's a lot you can do with it, and you still got Lashley. You still got, you know, Roland. You still got Rollins. You've got Owens. You've got McIntyre. There's still enough there lying around. And the other person that we haven't really spoke about, we'll speak about obviously in a minute after this, you know, was Austin Theory.
You know, I'm convinced in my own mind they're trying to make him the next Cena type person.
I think they're looking at him as the future.
Oh, absolutely, they
are. Looking at his future. I don't know if you could ever pull off another Cena.
Yeah.
I don't know if you could do it. Because the thing about John Cena is he dressed like a 5-year-old kid.
Yeah.
And he really, like, Anthony will agree with me on this. When 5 and 6 and 7-year-old boys see him and he's dressed like them, but he's big and muscular and he's living they go mad for him. Absolutely mad for him. He had that it.
Yeah.
You know, and they were just lucky they stumbled on it at the right time. I don't think it was great WWE booking or creative. I think they just stumbled on it, and he was a dedicated guy. Very dedicated to it. I don't know if
a good-looking young bloke. He's obviously quite much. I mean, he can work. Obviously.
Oh, his working's great. I think he's probably the best worker.
Rub with Vince.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I don't know if that's great for him, though, mate. I don't know. I don't know if it's great for him.
I think it's interesting. I think it's a little bit different. He's almost like the new chosen one or whatever. But I mean, that didn't work well last time.
No, look, Vince is hated by the people. Well, let's be honest, right? Vince is hated by the fans, right? Because they believe in the whole Mr. McMahon gimmick, right? Yeah. And so if you're saddling your horse with him, you're already cutting him off to. Most of the fans won't want to do much with him, right? They won't want to get invested into him. Secondly, right, Vince is not the Vince he was in the 90s. You know, he's not that guy anymore. So I think it's more detrimental to him than what it is positive. I would have liked to have seen, you know, maybe, I don't know, maybe somebody, what they're doing with Riddle. I would have liked to have seen that kind of thing maybe with him. I don't know with whom, but somebody who can guide him. I don't think Vince is the right fit. That's just my opinion. I don't think Vince, and what you see on the television show of Vince demanding that he goes out and does this, or I'll beat you up and do this to you and do this and that. I mean, talking about a very fit 24-year-old old man that's 70-something telling him he's going to beat him up.
I don't mind him in the slightest.
Who, Austin Theory?
Yeah.
Yeah, no, I think there's a lot of upside.
Yeah, there's something about him I like.
Yeah, there's a lot of upside to him.
Yeah,
a lot of upside.
I mean, there's another guy that I really like, but I know you're not a big fan, I don't think. But I actually think there's something with that Riddle too.
No, I'm not. I don't see it.
No?
I don't see it. I just don't see it.
Okay.
Look, I don't think even really technically he's a great worker. Okay, I don't see much in there. I honestly don't see it. I don't see it. I just don't see it. He's got some good martial arts kicks, but his transitions in wrestling are not great. His basic wrestling is not fantastic. But I'm not a huge. There's something about. I'm just not a huge fan of him. Just not a huge fan. No.
I don't mind him, but anyway. Yeah. So what did you boys give this Lashley Lesnar match?
I gave it an 8.
I gave it 8 as well. Yeah.
Wow.
Itself. Yeah.
Fantastic.